no, go. It's okay. Please.
Welcome to Gatton Football Club here in the Lockyer Valley for this National Premier League's Women's Queensland clash between South West Queensland Thunder and Gold Coast United here in what is Rebel Female Football Week. Make sure you get involved with the call on social media with the hashtag YeahTheGirls or YTG if you're short on space, and NPLWQLD of course. I'm Simon Smale, so thank you very much for joining us here in the early kickoff in round 5 of the competition. It is an absolutely blisteringly hot day out here in the west. Clouds are just about clearing as well, but the humidity is right up there, which is going to pose a real challenge for both sets of players out here this afternoon. Talk about the home side first. South West Queensland Thunder, they're going to look to pick up their first win of the season. After a fairly disappointing start, seeing them ship an average of 4 and 3/4 goals per game in losing all 4 of their matches thus far. Gold Coast United, well, they haven't had too good a start either, and they're going to want to improve on that to get their season up and running. They've only picked up 1 win. That was at home in front of a big crowd at Station Reserve against Easts. But other than that, they've conceded 8 goals in their past 2 away games in losing both. They want to get their season back up and running after their match against Moreton Bay United at Station Reserve was called off due to the big wet last weekend. One person that will be hoping for that particular trend of 4 goals to be conceded in away games for Gold Coast United is former Thunder star and Westfield W League Premiership winner Abby Lloyd. Abby, thank you so much for joining us out here in Gatton. Should be quite an entertaining game. Both sides still trying to find their form early in the season. We should see plenty of goals.
Yeah, hopefully Thunder can find the net a couple of times as well. That'd be good. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a hard game. It's always hard going up against Gold Coast. Previous games, it's always pretty tight. Either one getting the win. It's sort of a bit of a mix and match who gets a win here and then. But yeah, it's going to be a tough game, especially in this heat.
If you're under 17s or anything to go by, you'll be one happy lady. Yes. 7-4 Gold Coast. South West Queensland, of course, winning that game, which your little sister played in.
Yes.
And Big Sis is playing for the seniors.
Yeah, it's always good to come back to Toowoomba or Gatton and watch the sisters play. It's always fun, and yeah, let's just hope Mel can get a few in the net today.
Temporary home out here in Gatton while Clive Burkhofer Stadium in Toowoomba is being refurbished. Apparently that's not too far away, so there'll only be a couple more rounds out here, and I think the men's team in particular have had a lot of games scheduled away from home to open the season. So should be the facilities at South Clive Burkhofer are pretty impressive already, and it will be fantastic for the girls to get that refurbished centre up and running in what's probably one of the best facilities in the state at this level.
Yeah, it's always good playing at Clive as well. You get the crowd in the grandstands and that, and the atmosphere is just really exciting to play in those grandstands at times. So it's always fun to be there, and yeah, hopefully that we get back there pretty soon, I guess.
Nice little setup here though in Gatton. Certainly a good community feel, and of course with your family connections here, of course it's going to be a real family affair. We'll run you quickly through the teams as they are lined up and were announced to us shortly before, a short time ago. We'll start with the hosts. Elizabeth Hollett is in goal. Lana Styler will be wearing the number 2 jersey. Number 4, Madison Frank. Number 5, Julia Martin. Number 6, Zoe Brown, making her senior debut in defence today. And number 9, Jessica Fry. Number 13, Caitlin Stocker. Number 14, Jai Jackson. Number 15, Mel Lloyd. Number 17, Talia Berlin. And number 18, Claudia Madry. So pretty strong side, but there are a couple of notable absentees, including top goal scorer Louise Rolfe. She's out with an ankle injury. Sarah Sheridan, she's not here through illness. And Chantel Doro is getting married, which is pretty inconsiderate during football season, isn't it?
Don't know why she booked it for this day, but anyway, we'll let that one slide this time, I guess.
Well, I certainly won't worry about that if South West Queensland can pick up their first win of the season. Go to the visitors now, and in goal is the 18-year-old Megan Keeley-Hawkins. Wearing number 6 is the captain, Nessa Doyle. Number 8, Joy Forsyth. Number 9, Mackenzie Aikens. Number 10, Dee Thompson. Number 12, T. Reynolds. Number 13, Annual Brown. Number 14, Imogen Braithwaite. She's been promoted from the bench for this clash. Number 15, Kimberly Shrimpton. Number 17, Georgia Ellison. And number 18, the ever-dangerous Egg McGilligan. So it's a very strong side, but there are a couple of absences for the Gold Coast United side as well. No Louise Fryer, no Charlotte Rayner in the harder defence. So it could be quite even out because of those absentees on both sides.
Yeah, it's still going to be tough, obviously. Missing big names is hard sometimes, but I guess in this heat you just got to really dig your toes in and go for the win and get those balls sticking to each other and really keep the ball. Like it's obviously going to be hard in the heat, so keeping the ball is the main object in the game. So hopefully we can keep the ball and get a few in the back of the net.
He played throughout summer, of course, for Brisbane Roar's very successful W League side. And of course that was through the summer and on occasion in very, very tough conditions because of course you played before the men. I'll ask you a little bit more about that later, but in terms of the heat and in terms of humidity that we get up here in Queensland, is there a different way that you prepare for the game? Is it a lot that builds up before the match, so you're having to take your hydration sort of a couple of days in advance almost? What else do you have to do really to deal with this heat?
Yeah, definitely hydration is the key. We get smashed with that at training, I guess, and we have testing before each game, and yeah, it's really about hydrating the day before and before the game as well. We'll get tested, so if you're not hydrated, you're obviously going to show it on the pitch, and in days in heat like this and what we played in, it was crucial that we were well hydrated and ready to go, I guess. And also it was good when you came back in the sheds, we had ice vests, the cold towels, fresh waters, Powerades, pretty much anything you really needed. So we were pretty sorted, but in this it's obviously going to be a bit tougher and just really need to smash the waters and Powerades down at half-time.
Really will sort the girls out from the ladies, I guess.
Yep.
Here at 3 o'clock kickoff. It's quite nice, almost traditional to have a 3 o'clock kickoff. I'm a fan of it, but as a player perhaps we'll reserve judgment until after the game. But it perhaps does level the playing field slightly because Gold Coast were expected to be one of the front runners in the NPLW season. It hasn't quite worked out for them so far. Both away games they've conceded a hatful of goals, 4 goals on each occasion. In Mitchelton, that was 4 goals in the first 8 minutes of the season. So slow starting perhaps Gold Coast United. Is that something that the Thunder can exploit?
Hopefully, yeah. Definitely it's different for each team, but when obviously you're coming from a slow start, it's easy to, I guess, jump on that and use their slow start as your, I don't know the word, but you know, it's easy. Like if you stick the passes together and really heaps of communication and that, like you're going to get in behind, and we just need to keep the ball. It's going to be hot. They're going to be struggling. It's really going to go either way.
Is it even more vital to get an early goal when the conditions are like this? Is that from a psychological perspective, if you can just get that opening goal and you know that the other team are going to have to do all the chasing, that must be a bit of a boost. Yeah,
definitely. It really does, especially with the heat, the fatigue kicks in faster, and obviously your mind's going to go and you're going to start getting really down on yourself. Maybe fatigue kicks in and, you know, you struggle a bit to connect those passes and you just keep getting down from then on. But again, the key really is to just keep that ball and keep positive in this as well, and really keep your mind ready.
It's quite a young side. Both teams have plenty of young players. A couple from the Gold Coast perspective, though, from the United States. Mackenzie Arnold Mackenzie Atkins, sorry, being one of them. She's a very impressive player. She scored a hat-trick in that first round defeat as the players are led onto the field by our refereeing team, sponsored by Total Tools. Sarah Pratt, the lady in the middle, and she's going to be assisted by Jacob Cux and Kai Teakle. So that experience and having that level head is going to be very important. Of course, there's Lana Styler. She was a foundation player here with the Thunder. So how important is that to get those experienced players in and to really calm everybody down and perhaps make sure nobody really goes off too quickly? Having said you need to get a hard start, you need to be able to keep something in reserve. Yeah,
exactly. You really just need to keep the mind working and be smart about it. Stick those plays, and if they're not sticking, we really need to tuck in and hold our formation and not chase the ball so much. So you just really need to be smart in attack and in defence, obviously, and yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Rebel Female Football Week, and we have the two young sides coming out with the teams. That's the Thunder SAP side and the local team here, the Gatton Redbacks, and they'll be playing games here at half time while the players get the ice vests on, if they have them at this level perhaps.
Yep.
Or certainly getting some fluids in, but we're almost ready for kick-off here as the teams exchange pleasantries and the young girls run off the field. It should be a fantastic encounter. I've already mentioned South West Queensland Thunder have conceded 19 goals so far this season, an average of one every 19 minutes or so. So it's not perhaps a record that they're going to be particularly proud of, and one they're certainly going to try and rectify today. But Gold Coast United conceded 9 goals in their 3 games as well. So it should be plenty of goals in this match, and we'll just need to see how both teams react to the heat. T. Reynolds scored twice versus South West Queensland Thunder last season when she was playing for Gold Coast City. And Dee Thompson, well, she's got a pretty good record against the Thunder as well. She scored 8 times in 6 games over the past 3 years while she was at Souths. So she'll be hoping to add to that tally from a Gold Coast perspective. If you are watching on the Gold Coast, welcome. And it's a shame you're not with us, because it's a glorious drive up from the coast to what is a very pleasant place to come and watch football. We've got a half-decent crowd in as well, in what are really stifling conditions. I'm sure we'll talk about that plenty as the teams give themselves their final instructions. Sarah Pratt will be wanting to get things going once her assistants are ready. It's always wonder in these situations what can possibly be said now that hasn't been said in the dressing room. Perhaps you can shed some light on that, Abby.
It's really just, I guess, going back over what we've said in the dressing room, I guess, and really just getting the focus up and the positive vibes in the group up. There's no point bringing in negative stuff at the moment, so it's really just, I guess, hyping everyone up and getting them ready and keeping up the talk throughout the whole game and just reminding everyone like what we're here for and our key structures, I guess, and yeah, just to really go out there and give it our all.
Dee Thompson, who went off injured against Lions in round 3. She's wearing a heavily strapped knee. She'll be kicking us off for Gold Coast alongside T. Reynolds, who was initially named on the bench today but has been recalled to the starting lineup. And it is the Gold Coast United side in their white jerseys who will be kicking us off from right to left. Sarah Pratt gets us underway. Early opportunity perhaps here for Dee Thompson down the right hand side. So dangerous looking cross floating towards the back post. Meg McGilligut. It's tough to get your tongue around that. And I feel like I'll probably be saying it quite a lot. She's already scored 4 goals this season, the 22-year-old. Former Souths and Washington Spirit player over in the States. She's going to be something that the Thunder defence are going to have to really be aware of. Definitely. In those situations.
Yeah, especially with her pace, and she has that skill to take them on one-on-one as well. So really dangerous player, and I guess we're going to work hard to keep her out of it.
Madison Frank getting into a little spot of bother there. She's playing in that central defensive role in place of her sister, who moved to Lions for this season. It's a real family affair out here in the West. So an early free kick given for a foul on Dee Thompson. And it looks like McElliott will take it. An early opportunity for the visitors. Elizabeth Hollett organising her two-man wall. McGilligan goes for goal herself, tries to catch the keeper unawares, and it wasn't all that far away. And I think that just shows the alertness and quality perhaps that McGilligan possesses.
And she's confident as well to take that and step up and take that shot there. So, you know, she's really got a lot on her plate to give to the Thunder defence, and it's going to be tough.
It's coming straight back towards McGilligan, but it's a bit too close to Hollett from Gold Coast United's perspective, and she's going to be able to clear. Thunder haven't really had much possession at all so far in these opening few minutes. And Shrimpson over on this near touchline, all bundled out by Jessica Fry. Relatively inexperienced side for Thunder. A lot of them have come through the youth ranks here though, in Toowoomba. That's excellent from McGilligan. Race into the area. Crowded out though, but it's still there for Thompson. Again, the Thunder defence are able to stand up to this early pressure, but it's not quite cleared yet. There for Elliston. Elliston gets a little bit caught up with Emerson Braithwaite. And the cross comes in and Hollett gathers. You'll be seeing a little bit too much of a ball for her liking early doors in this encounter. And really, the Thunder need to try and get their foot on the ball, and they'll be helped by that free kick given by Sarah Pratt. And a bit of time to perhaps compose themselves and string some passes together.
Yeah, definitely. Just I think just calming it down a bit and getting the pace back to our liking would be key at the moment, and yeah, really just having a crack, I guess.
There is a crack, an early crack, but it was comfortably saved by Keely Hawkins, just 18 years old. She loses the ball out to McGilligan. McGilligan involved plenty in these early stages, linking up with Reynolds. Well dealt with in the end though by Madra. She came off in just the 27th minute against Logan on Tuesday. Suffered a slight injury, but she seems to have recovered and was able to take her place in the starting lineup today. She's going to have to be on top of her game, you'd expect. Two number 18s line up against each other. It's pinging around over on that far side. Here's Atkins. Tries to race through, but it's well dealt with over on that far side, and unfortunately for Martin, she can't quite get that ball under control, but Thunder do come away with it. Thrown is given over on that far side to the home side. And just 5 minutes in to this encounter, still 0-0. Stocker couldn't quite get that under control and concedes for throw-in, which will be taken by Braithwaite. She won the Premiership and Championship last season under Michael Cook at Peninsula Power. So she followed her former coach down the coast and commutes there every day. Well, every time there's training anyway, which is it's a fair effort to make that trip. Although I guess if you're going against traffic, it's not too bad, but shows the level of commitment that the youngster has to her football, and that's a glorious ball floated over the top towards McGilligan. She just can't get the ball under control. That's perhaps a disappointing end. Retains possession and slides that ball through. And it was not too far away from Thompson. She looks to add to her 8 goals that she's already picked up against the Thunder in the National Premier League's Queensland. Good chance.
Definitely, yep. I think if Meg obviously got a hold of that ball as well, she's one-on-one with the keeper in the box, and that's dangerous. They have that quick transition as well, and they're obviously planning to hit her every time because she has that pace and that skill to take people on one-on-one. So very dangerous for the Thunder defence, but for now we've sort of held her to her game a bit, and yeah, we've just got to keep matching up one-on-one with her.
Perhaps caught in two minds. Maybe she was thinking of what she's going to do when bearing down on the keeper and couldn't quite get the ball under control. It's probably quite easy to do, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Always changing your mind, and should have gone with the first option all the time, but that's all right. We learn from them.
Just run away a little bit there from Atkins. And then a slip in the midfield, and it's an opportunity perhaps for the Thunder to break, but unfortunately Berlin couldn't get a foot on the ball, and it's Gold Coast who are going to attack again, but that was a disappointing cross in the end, and it goes out for a goal kick. Thunder really do need to get their foot on the ball. Haven't been able to see much of it so far, and you're saying that in the build-up in these hot conditions, that's exactly what you need to do, and it's been the Gold Coast who've adapted best so far.
Yeah, exactly, and that's obviously just going to wear us out a fair bit. We're already chasing the ball a fair bit, and you see some red faces out there already, which is a bit tough. It's already, what, like 8 minutes in or so, so it's a bit daunting when you're playing this, and obviously one person's going to come out on top, so hopefully we can just get a hold of the ball and really start playing our game a bit and knock it around, keep the ball and make them run a bit.
Frank did well then, up against McGilligan. She's just been all over the place in these opening 10 minutes or so. And that's a nice turn from Atkins, and Atkins is going to shape to shoot, and it needed saving, and it was a good save in the end. It's still there though, perhaps for Elliston. It's half cleared, flags up over on that far side for a foul, and Georgia Elliston is penalised. 17-year-old. Again, plenty of youngsters playing, applying their trade here in the National Premier League's Queensland, and you're a perfect example of the pathways that the National Premier Leagues can offer to young players. Playing in the Raw women's side over the past season, Premiership winning season, so a fantastic achievement. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it was obviously a great season, a bit disappointing in the end, but you know we're going to build on that for next season, and I think we have all the right tools to get all the way in, next year. So yeah, exciting times, I guess.
It's deflected behind for a corner, and that'll be the first corner of the game, and it goes the way of Gold Coast United. We all know that the Premiership's the one that matters anyway.
Exactly.
Don't we, Abby? Most consistent side over the whole season, and most of those games were played at Suncorp Stadium, where the Raw men will be playing this evening. How good an experience is that? Because in previous years the girls have gone out to different venues. Just wait until this corner is dealt with or otherwise by the Thunder defence, and it is the former, but only as far as Atkins. Forced back though. Shrimpton tries to put the ball in, and it's a throw-in. Played at various grounds around the place. Have the girls in the W League and in other teams have been away from their A-League venues. Of course, we mentioned earlier that it perhaps didn't have the best time slots for you girls at times, but it must have been a good experience, and part of that whole commitment is being part of one whole club, and that's something I think a lot of the A-League clubs are really trying to embrace and show that it is one big squad and that we're all part of the same, pushing in the same direction. Yeah,
it was obviously really exciting to play at Suncorp. I think last year I didn't get the chance to play a home game, so for me it was obviously a huge deal getting to Suncorp and having my family and friends come up from Toowoomba to watch, so it was really exciting for me. And just when you walk out of that tunnel, it's just so surreal. You never really think you get the chance to play on that field, but Yeah, it's really exciting seeing all the men sitting on the bench and cheering us on. It's great to see, and obviously the time slots were a bit hard at times. We got the sun right on us at some points, but yeah, we obviously got through it pretty well, and I think that's credit to our staff and our strength and conditioning coach, Jesse. We were really fit, came into this season really fit, and I think that's what the key was this season. We could get through those tough games.
Big sis Mel under a little bit of pressure there, but Thunder are able to maintain possession, and hopefully they'll be able to work it forward for the first time really in this game, but not going to be able to do that if they pick off white-shirted players in the way that they just did.
And that's that fitness again. As soon as the fitness goes, the fatigue sets in and those passes just don't stick. So that's when you really need to dig in deep and really focus on your passes and just calm down a bit and try and get them to stick, I guess.
Yes, it can get quite frantic almost when you are chasing the game and have been chasing the game, even though we're only 12, 13 minutes or so in. You know, you do feel that you probably haven't had the ball for half an hour, when, especially in these temperatures. So it's about regaining that composure and using that level head, I guess, in those situations. Back to Suncorp Stadium, of course, it wasn't just the men who were cheering you on. You had a fantastic backing from a whole heap of spectators as McGilligan picks up the ball again and races into the penalty area, and it's a good shot and an even better save. Excellent effort from Dee Thompson. But that's a fantastic save from Elizabeth Hollett.
Yeah, Liz has been really strong in goals for the past couple of years, obviously. I think just her ability to get up for those ones, and sometimes you really think it's in the back of the net and she'll pull out a ripper of a save. So it gets the team excited, and saves like that, you really just need to let her know that was brilliant and get behind each other, I guess, and get excited again, get that energy back in and really try and go forward.
Not the tallest keeper I've seen, but that was a fantastic leap that she did.
She gets up there.
Excellent stop. Brown delivered a fantastic corner just before, and this one's equally dangerous. Hollett a little bit in no man's land, but the ball is hooked away and up towards Berlin. She's dispossessed. Doyle, captain, does retain possession despite treading on the ball. Here's Brown again. Santa Clara University star, twisting and turning, and she finds a target, and Atkins got a little bit underneath that, and the danger passes for the Thunder, but another good spell of pressure from Gold Coast United, who are really on top here in Gatton. You're listening to me, Simon Smell, and W League Premiership winner Abby Lloyd, bringing you this NPLW clash between South West Queensland Thunder and Gold Coast United in Rebel Female Football Week. The second of 3 live NPLW games that we will be bringing you throughout the weekend. We're treated to a thriller at John Frederick Oval last night, where Rafe and Melandretta, 3-3 it finished between the Raw and Capalaba. McDowell hat-trick. And 2 goals from Riley, 1 from Noon. So that was a good start to Female Football Week. Hopefully we'll get plenty more goals in the next few minutes in these stifling conditions out here in Gatton. Quarter of an hour gone. Thunder in the blue shirts, able to get their foot on the ball, but under pressure from Atkins. Thunder cough the ball up again, and McGilligan finds Reynolds. It was only a good tackle over in that corner that stopped T. Reynolds from racing into the penalty area, but the danger's not averted. Defence standing up well to Atkins. Shot from Shrimpton, former Palm Beach junior. And Liz Hollett watches that one pass harmlessly wide of the post. If you just joined us, still 0-0. Gold Coast United have had the lion's share of possession. Thunder have been chasing the game, but under so much pressure. And it's pressure like that from Georgia Elliston that's really been causing all sorts of problems for the Thunder defence, who just can't get the ball up to their target girls. Jess Fry's cut a rather lonely figure up top. Had to be alert there. Does get the ball away, but had to rush, and it was in the end badly controlled by Fry, and it's another opportunity for Gold Coast United to press forward. McGilligan, who's been involved in so much of what the ladies in the white shirts have done. Here's an opportunity perhaps for the hosts. Strong tackle though at the back by Forsyth. Still with possession for Thunder though. This ball up towards Lloyd. Again, Frank looking to play that ball forward. That composure just a little bit lacking there from the Thunder, and it allows Gold Coast to retain possession. A little bit overhit though from Joy Forsyth towards McGilligan, who thought perhaps she'd be able to bring the ball down with her hand, but it was too high even for that, so slightly overhit. But again, that's what this temperature does, and that's what these conditions do.
Exactly.
Looks like a pretty good surface though.
Yeah, Gatton's always a pretty good field to play on. I quite like playing here. This is obviously where I got picked up by the Roar as well on this field, so obviously some good memories here, and I like to think that I play pretty good on this field, so hopefully it can rub off on a couple of the Thunder girls and we can get up into our half and score a couple. I
couldn't tempt you to slip a jersey on this afternoon. Raced here.
No one will know.
Raced here midway through a futsal game, I understand, so
yeah.
Thank you for missing out on that.
No worries. Hopefully they got the win.
Were they leading at half time?
We were.
Oh, there you go. Well,
yeah.
There's some ammunition to perhaps
hopefully
hit the girls with if they didn't win.
Exactly.
McGilligan shapes up with this free kick and drifts it towards the back post. Nobody really attacking the ball though, so a bit of a let-off there for the Thunder. I think McGilligan showing a little bit of frustration there with her teammates because nobody seems to really want to attack that, and it was a good delivery.
Yeah, and obviously that heat plays a big factor in that as well, but it's definitely, if they had those back post runners there, that's obviously a really dangerous place to be in the box, and really the Thunder players didn't really track that either, so they sort of got lucky, I guess, that no one was in that back post position and that they didn't follow, I guess.
Bit of a mistake at the back, almost allowed Stocker to get through, but she was unable to do so. That's a solid challenge over on that far side. The Thunder players left sprawled on the turf. She's up now, but here's a real danger. McGilligan is lurking in the box. Instead, it's gone back towards Atkins, and Atkins fires it over. Disappointing end to a rapid counter-attack. That could have been very dangerous for the Thunder, but United really wasting that opportunity.
Yeah, I think it's Deanna Thompson over there. Really probably a better option just to cut that back into the 6-yard box. They had players running in there, so, or even top of the 18, they had a few players coming through. So I guess you're going to make those mistakes, and hopefully next time she'll see those players coming in and play that back for the easy tap in, I guess.
Dee Thompson wearing that heavy knee brace, or heavy looking knee brace. How difficult is it to play in these situations when you have got a slight instability in your knee, because obviously you're twisting and turning all the time? Yeah. You must play on your mind a lot.
Yeah, it's always in the back of the mind, obviously, but I guess you really just got to be confident in yourself, and if you don't go in 100% on those 50-50 tackles and all those turns and cuts and weaves you make, you're really just going to end up hurting yourself. So I guess the key is just really being all in, go all in, or
stay at home.
Yeah, exactly.
She really threw herself into that tackle and was quite slow in getting up, was that Dee Thompson, so keep an eye on her, but it might just be the general fatigue from this heat. Shrimpton and McGilligan linking up nicely. Lovely back heel. Played in towards Atkins, but cleared by the Thunder defence. Yeah, on her haunches, still Dee Thompson, so keep an eye on her in the next few minutes or so. 20 minutes gone in the first half, still 0-0. Opportunity perhaps for Stocker. It's well defended in the end though by captain Nessa Doyle. Still there. Was that a handball? Wasn't given. And then it was Dee Thompson again who hit that ball over the bar and wide of the target, and referee Sarah Pratt has decided that we need a mid-interval drinks break. So players will head over to the no shade over on that far side, although there's not a lot of shade available at all. We're slightly fortunate here, and we're still, well, speaking for myself, still sweating.
No, I'm with you in that one.
Fairly profusely. It's fairly uncomfortable just to stand and watch. So quite how these girls are feeling. I'm sure they'll be very thankful to get some cold water or hydrolyte or whatever into their system. And it's a good opportunity perhaps to summarise what we've seen so far. The hosts have been really put under a lot of pressure from Gold Coast United, who are looking for their second win of the season. They've only played 3 games and lost both their previous away matches by a scoreline of 4-3 and 4-2. No goals here as yet, and there will be something of a relief to the Thunder, who've been conceding on average a goal every 19 minutes. So we're extending that out a little bit thus far, just 22 minutes or so into this first half. But they really have been put under a lot of pressure, have the Thunder. And I think, Abby, what do you think will the coach Scott Teague will be saying over in the sun on that far side to try and build his players up and try and get them back into this game? Because there were some signs of life towards the end of that first quarter of the match.
Yeah, I think it will just be the basics, I guess, just really getting the passes to flow and really hitting feet and getting, I think the ball speed, I guess, would be one thing that Thunder are lacking in today. So really hitting those balls hard to feet and I guess movement off the ball. We when we do get up into our half, obviously because the fatigue's hit in, the strikers are a bit slow to come get the ball, but they're facing up pretty well and holding the ball up, but that midfield just really need to come in behind to lay that ball off and go from there. But I guess they're probably just lacking in that support from behind when the strikers get that ball. So I think that would be something that I would be at least saying to them, really just trying to support each player from behind and have at least 1 or 2 players around the ball.
Infringement spotted there by Sarah Pratt as we get back underway, and it'll be a free kick to the Thunder midway inside their own half. So Jai Jackson, who'll be over there taking the free kick. Spent a few years in the USA, did Jai, after playing 6 times in 2015. So another example of the pathways and an opportunity for the Thunder in their attacking half, but Berlin can't quite get the ball under control. It is at the expense of a Thunder throw though, and ball over on that far side. Another free kick spotted by Pratt, this time in favour of the visitors. And the pressure valve slightly released. Slightly better and signs of life there for the Thunder. Mid-half chat by Teakle in his first year as senior coach here in the West. Gold Coast are moving the ball very well. It's a bit too far ahead of McGilligan, though, by Shrimpton, and it's a throw-in. Thompson plays the ball all the way across, and had Elliston managed to get that ball under control, might have been a little bit of trouble for Thunder, but she works hard and well to get that ball back in place. And McGilligan, and that's the opening goal here in Gatton. Fine finish from Meg McGilligan, and in all honesty, Abby, that had been coming.
Yeah, definitely. That been dangerous all game, and it obviously was going to come. We just didn't know when. But I think it was just a bit of a Mix up in the back line, sort of didn't really expect it to get through, and obviously a brilliant finish from Meg, and I guess that's all it really takes.
It's her 5th goal of the season for Meg McGilligan, 22-year-old. Excellent perseverance and chasing down from Georgia Elliston, though. Really did work hard after miscontrolling the initial pass from Dee Thompson. So pretty impressive effort. And we're seeing our first change of the afternoon. It looks like Nessa Doyle has gone off for the visitors. And that's a pretty big blow, despite having just taken the lead.
Early sub too.
Very early, just 26 minutes into the game.
You wonder if that's an injury or just that fatigue kicking in as well.
As you say, very early for that to happen. It's Kiana Walker, 17-year-old, who's a very talented player. She plays futsal, has done for the state and Oceania, so she's pretty handy. She played at Mudgerabar last year, so it's not a bad replacement to have, I guess. But losing your captain so early, that can really affect a team, can't it? And even though you've just gone ahead, that's a real blow that you have to contend with.
Yeah, definitely, especially because those captains obviously normally stand up and really get the team going in those tough moments. And obviously Gold Coast are on top at the moment, so they should be fine in that aspect. But when things do get tough, the captains normally are the ones to step up and really get the team going again. So that could be a big blow for them in the end.
There's more great effort from Elliston, real fighting ability to win that ball back. Well, that was sloppy there from Aniel Brown. She recovers just about. And here is Kiana Walker, but can't keep it in. An opportunity perhaps for the Thunder to strike back immediately. Brown does very well to steal the ball back, and here's another opportunity for Meg McGilligan. Danger here for the Thunder. McGilligan racing down on goal, confident finish, and that's 2 goals in as many minutes for Gold Coast United. And that girl again, Meg McGilligan, her 6th goal of the season, handing Gold Coast United a 2-goal lead here midway through the first half.
And that's that quick transition as well, hit Meg straight away, and obviously another good finish. It's going to be hard to stop her once she gets on a roll because she has that pace, so I guess a bit unlucky, but hopefully we can get one back and really work hard.
Real hammer blow to the Southwest Queensland Thunder. They were looking to get themselves back into that game, but the loss of Nessa Doyle to what we suppose is injury does not seem to have affected the Gold Coast at all. Here's McGilligan. Slides in T. Reynolds. Reynolds, lovely turn, looking to cross. Hands were up, and then a hand came up from Mackenzie Atkins, just asking the question of Sarah Pratt, but nothing doing, says our official. Here's Atkins. Atkins swing the ball into the danger area. It could still fall for Elliston. Elliston on the turn over the crossbar, and it is a goal kick. More danger for the Thunder, and they've weathered that particular storm, but again, it's not looking too good for the hosts at the moment. They've conceded 2 goals in quick succession thanks to Meg McGilligan. And conceding 2 goals so quickly, how can the Thunder respond, do you think, Abby Lloyd?
It's always tough, obviously, but as I guess every soccer player knows, 2-0 is in the end. So I guess halftime couldn't come quick enough in this instance, but I guess really just I think the 50-50 tackles just need to be better. I think they're just pushing us off the ball a fair bit, and with their strength, obviously, and because they have that momentum going forward and they've got a couple goals on their back, the fatigue probably isn't hitting them as much as they do have the ball. So it's obviously going to be hard. Thunder are under
Here's McGilligan, and that's 3. I was just about to say, a 2-goal advantage is often seen as being a little bit dangerous. 3 is probably a little bit more secure, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that just cancelled out what I was just saying. But, you know, I guess it's never over, and Thunder are never ones to give up. So no matter the scoreline, I think that the work rate's there. Obviously, it's just the physical battle, we're just losing, and those one-on-ones. So I think if each player really just steps up in their own personal game and wins their battles, I think we can string some passes together and really get up there. But then I guess it's just really on yourself and stepping up to that challenge.
Gee, it's a good header though, isn't it, from Meg McGallagher. She was in the right place at the right time for sure, but was able to direct that ball past Liz Hollett, who could do nothing really in that situation. And here's another opportunity perhaps for Elliston to deliver a cross in, and it's the fourth corner of the afternoon for Gold Coast United. But yeah, really strong header from Meg McGallagher, who hits her first hat-trick of the season. She is a proven goal scorer. She scored 21 goals in the 2016 season for Souths in just 15 games. She's up to 7 in 4 here for Gold Coast City.
It's always good as a forward player as well, keeping tally of those goals and really setting a standard. So I think in my last NPL season I really wanted to score a goal a game, and I achieved that, and I think that's something that each all the young girls and that, like young strikers coming up, can really take a hold of and really set goals for themselves. So you keep I guess you know where you're at.
Headed back into the danger zone by Elliston. She's proving to be a real menace over on that far side for the Thunder, and here she is again. You mentioned that robust nature perhaps of some of the 50-50 challenges, and that the Gold Coast United side really getting on top of the Thunder in that situation. And if anyone has personified that, it is Georgia Elliston. She's been really fantastic, the 17-year-old. Still a high school student at Palm Beach Currumbin High School at the Sports Excellence Centre down there on the coast. A free kick. Hands in the back, perhaps. Spotted by the substitute, Kiana Walker. And this is an opportunity, perhaps, for the Thunder to get the ball into the Gold Coast United penalty area. And perhaps make Megan Keeley-Hawkins some work. She hasn't had too much to do so far, other than that one very comfortable save early on in the contest. Mel Lloyd is lurking. Oh, it slipped in! That's a real error, a horrible error from Megan Keeley-Hawkins. And almost a sheepish celebration from the Thunder, but that sometimes you need a bit of luck in a game, and suddenly it's just a 2-goal margin again.
Yeah, and it was a great hit from Maddie Frank as well, so I guess a bit unlucky for the keeper that she came out, but I guess we all make those mistakes, and lucky for Thunder it paid off, and we're back in it, I guess.
Certainly are. That's a horrible error for Megan Keeley-Hawkins. She's not had much to do. She'll be pretty filthy with herself for not dealing with that free kick, which was all of 40 yards out from goal. It's so impressive hit from Madison Frank. Danger here though for the Thunder, and once again McGallagher shoots, and we're back to a 3-goal advantage. Didn't take long for Gold Coast United to hit back, and just barely a minute after conceding, Meg McGallagher grabs her 4th of the game, so she's doubled her season tally in the first half hour or so of this game here in Gatton.
I don't see her stopping anytime soon either. That's a scary thing. She's got that momentum, and she's scored a couple already, so I really don't see her stopping from here on out.
That's a little bit disappointing with the defending in that situation. I think it was Frank in that right back position who perhaps switched off, I don't know, after scoring that goal, but she's going to need to up her game in all seriousness, because at the moment McGallagher is running rampant, and really she could grab a hatful here.
Yeah, definitely, and that's obviously just that focus to get back in the game. Up, like, if you score a goal, it's always the next 2 minutes you really need to go hard, because they're going to come out even harder to get that one back. So I think we lack in that sometimes. I think Thunder in the past years we've conceded straight after goals pretty easily, so I guess that's always something that we need to work on, but just a bit disappointing, I guess.
Another free kick, that one not quite as well looped, and I'm sure Keely Hawkins will be glad to see that one comfortably gathered into her arms. Although another little error in attempting the throw. Perhaps she's been a little bit spooked by that mistake for the Thunder's solitary goal, but excellent interplay over on this near side. That's glorious football from Gold Coast United. Here's Shrimpton looking towards the middle, but it's half cleared, only towards McGilligan though. McGilligan head in her hands after that, but it's still falling for Dee Thompson, and that's another good save onto the crossbar, still there for the visitors. It's scrambled clear by the Thunder. Another good save from Liz Hollett. And here's an opportunity perhaps for Mel Lloyd. Mel Lloyd through on goal. Can't get her shot away. Sorry, it was Clive Berlin, I think.
Yep. Yeah, young Taylor out on the wing there. She's got that pace as well, so, and you obviously we sort of need to, I guess, do the same thing with what they're doing with Megan McGilly. It really hit her on the counter-attack because she has that pace and she can finish, just a bit unlucky and I guess scrambling there. But next one, I'm sure she'll get in if she gets a chance.
I say it's really opened up this game after quite a tight opening 25 minutes or so. We've had 5 goals in very quick succession. When you see a goalkeeper make a mistake, as we saw with Frank's goal, I mean, I don't want to sort of hammer Keely Hawkins for that mistake, but she has looked a little bit shaky since. That must play on players' minds, and when you see a goalkeeper make mistakes like that and then continue to be a little bit shaky, excellent work there from Mel Lloyd. She got in front of Brown in getting that ball, and I think that's what we need to start seeing. You mentioned those 50-50 challenges, but as we've seen again, Georgia Ellison winning the ball over on that far side, and she rampages into the box, crosses towards McGilligan. McGilligan gets underneath that one, and that's cleared for safety netting. I don't think it's quite gone onto the Warrego Highway. It wasn't far off, perhaps. She'll be disappointed with that after her previous efforts. 4 goals already in this first half, if you just joined us, from Meg McGilligan, and all coming within an 8-minute period. 26th, 29th, 31st and 34th. The last coming about 30 seconds after Madison Frank scored a 40-yard free kick that Keely Hawkins made a bit of a mess of. And we'll just continue our conversation. Free kick is given, perhaps fortuitously. Maori winning the free kick after being hit a little bit late perhaps by Atkins, but referee Sarah Pratt perhaps offering that get out of jail free card for the Thunder centre back. Brown winning the ball there in the midfield, and once again the trap is sprung by McGilligan. McGilligan, all too easy for Gold Coast United. That's their 5th goal and the 5th for Meg McGilligan. She is absolutely destroying the South West Queensland Thunder here at Gatton. And in the 39th minute, just 13 minutes after her first goal, she's bagged 5. And the score is South West Queensland Thunder 1, Gold Coast United 5.
And that's that. Meg McGilliott's pace once again, just getting in behind, and first touch really led her in front of the Southwest defenders. So getting in front of them, you're either going to get fouled from behind or you've got that clear shot at goal. And she's smart. She took it inside, and really she's got an open goal to deal with.
Not that I'd ever condone this, but how, as a defender, do you deal with that situation, that threat? Because it's the same situation, it's the same set of circumstances almost every time. McGilligan racing onto a through ball down this left-hand side, the right side of the South West Queensland Thunder defence. I mean, do you put in a bit of a late challenge, or just take her down and perhaps take the yellow card and just let her know that you're there?
Yeah,
put her off in those situations?
Yeah, there's definitely those times where you need that smart foul. Obviously, she's been dangerous all game, but I think the problem is we haven't really been close enough even to make that smart foul. We're sort of staying inside a fair too much, and we just really need to open our body up so we can see both her and the ball, and I think that's one thing we're just getting wrong and getting caught out every time.
Berlin was fouled a little bit there, and that allowed Mel Lloyd to swing into action over on that left-hand side, but she swings her shot come cross into the safety netting behind the goal. And crisis averted for Gold Coast United. You're right about not getting close enough. Frank is looking to perhaps cut that ball off on more occasions than not, but it's not really working out that way. I mean, she was able to do so just on that occasion, but other than that, it's been a little bit too easy for Gold Coast. Is that something that Scott Teakle is going to be able to change? Is there anything you can do about that situation? Do you have to put 2 players on her at all times? It's a difficult thing to do because there's so many threats going forward for Gold Coast United.
Yeah, it's a bit hard. Obviously, if the whole back line really talk and work together, we can cut both the passing line out and Meg's feet out, I guess.
Again, so much space on this near side for Meg McGallagher.
Exactly, and that's just that body shape as well. Maddie Frank was facing inside. Really need to just open up. She did towards the end there, but really just need to open up so she can see Meg at all times. And if she goes in behind, I guess the back line just really need a bit more communication and switch players. We don't always need to track. We can bypass players, I guess, and really just be smart about it. There's no point chasing when someone else who's closer, I guess, can step in and take the challenge.
Foot was high there by McGilligan on Jess Fry, and she's going to swing this ball in towards the back post, you'd think. Well, it does fall through for the Thunder, but it's cleared fairly well. Frank attempts another long-range effort, but not quite there for her this time. Berlin was lurking, but Keely Hawkins has got over her initial jitters after being largely an observer for the majority of this game and managed to pick that one up. Difficult there for the Thunder defence to deal with. It looked like Liz Hollett was about to come, but she decided not to, and that perhaps allowed Dee Thompson to race into action, but the Thunder do conspire to clear the ball in the end. And just 2 minutes of normal time remaining in this first half, the first half that's seen Gold Coast United, and in particular Meg McGallagher, run rampant against the South West Queensland Thunder defence, scoring 5 goals after the 25th minute. And the danger is still there as United get their 5th corner of the game. None so far for the Thunder. And it seems silly to say, but another goal before half-time will really be a nail, an extra nail in the coffin, perhaps, for the Thunder. It swung in towards McGallagher. She didn't get enough on the ball, and it's comfortably dealt with by Hollett. Perhaps an opportunity for a counter-attack, but a lot of Thunder players still in the penalty area, defensive penalty area that is. And there were no real options ahead of her, and now it's coming straight back with Elliston. Elliston up against Martin. Oh, Martin's taken out the game by a lovely turn. Oh, it's almost come across after a pass by T. Reynolds towards McGallagher again.
Thunder really need to step up in this moment as well. We can see a couple of the Gold Coast girls walking a bit, so it's hitting both teams, but I think now our midfield can be much higher and really press and try and get something out of this half.
Atkins uses Forsyth. Forsyth looking for an option and finds it in McGallagher. And Shrimpton tries to run onto it, but she still has it, and keeper Hollett is off her line. And this is one person you don't want to see on the ball in that situation, Meg McGallagher. McGallagher tries to thread the ball through to Dee Thompson, but it was the wrong option in the end. Perhaps a little bit of a let-off, but we're into stoppage time at the end of the first half now. And there'll be a little bit added on after we had the break due to the oppressive conditions. Just headed back by Forsyth to Keely Hawkins, and the volleyball libero for Queensland ends the half, and it's been a pretty impressive half for her side and those in front of her. Bit of a mistake from Hawkins though, allowed South West Queensland Thunder to grab their goal in the 34th minute. Madsen Frank with a 35-40 yard shot from a free kick that just slipped through the hands of the 18-year-old keeper. But really it's been the Meg McGallagher show so far in this first half. 5 goals for the 22-year-old. She's been hugely impressive, and there's a lot of players with their hands on their haunches. It's very, very hot out there. We're going to grab a drink. We recommend that you guys do too. Thank you for joining us, myself and Abby Lloyd. Abby, just a couple of thoughts from you just before the half-time break. Anything that the Thunder can do, or is it a case of trying to preserve a little bit of pride now?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's going to be a bit hard to get the goals back now, but I think just really, I guess just practicing our structures and really trying, I guess, a few new things out in defence, really just trying to keep them wide and not play through the midfield, because they're getting those 1-2s really well in the midfield. So I think just showing them wide and keeping them wide and really pressing is probably one thing that I would mention to the girls, but you never know what Scott's going to send them out to do, and I just hope that they come out with their heads high and really don't give up, and I don't think they will. They never do, but you never know in this heat.
It's a big challenge for the South West Queensland Thunder. We're going to take a break now. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back just after these messages from Football Queensland, and we hope you will join us for the second half of South West Queensland Thunder versus Gold Coast United here in Gatton.
Tools, we swear by our range, we swear by our service, and of course, we swear by our prices, so you'll know that you're buying at the best price every day. Total Tools, every tool, every trade.
I could watch them all day, even though here, you don't feel like you need to. These are the moments I'll remember. You see, to me, it's not so much just having us all together, but finding a place that really brings us together. That's what makes Oaks Oasis special. When you only get a few chances, it's important to make them count. After all, memories don't make themselves.
Today. Audi Mini Rouge, Mini Star. Oh, Mini Star. Ah! Audi. Dream Team.
Reckon your kid could do better than Archie? We're looking for 4 mini stars to join the Aldi Mini Rouge Dream Team. If your kid's between 4 and 11, loves football, get them to make a video.
2 minutes max!
Showing us why they've got what it takes. If they're picked, they'll be part of the Aldi Mini Rouge Dream Team and the face of Aldi's wheat biscuits.
I thought I was meant to be on the box.
Take a look around. This
Well, welcome back to Gatton for this NPL Women's Queensland clash. And it's been one-way traffic so far, really. Gold Coast United leading the hosts, South West Queensland Thunder, by 5 goals to 1. It's been 5 goals from Meg McGilligan, who has been absolutely sensational in this first half. She's been causing all sorts of problems down this left-hand side. And there's been a number of goals that have been relatively similar, all coming down the right and the right-hand side of the Thunder defence. It's been devastating for the Thunder. All those goals came in a 13-minute period as well, as referee Sarah Pratt gets us back underway. And the Thunder will be playing for pride, you'd think. A couple of substitutions. No substitutions. We'll keep you up to date when and where they happen. But here is Meg McGilligan over on that far side. So much space again. And this time she puts the ball over. And it's gone straight in through the hands of Liz Hollett. And right from the off, Meg McGilligan just continues where she was in the first half. An opening goal inside the opening minute of the second half. And it's now Gold Coast United and Meg McGilligan 6, South West Queensland Thunder 1. You do fear a little bit for the Thunder in these very, very warm, muggy conditions, because it could be a cricket score if we're honest. Solid challenge there, though, from Tyler Berlin. And I think that's what we need to see a little bit more of from the Thunder, a little bit more in these 50-50 challenges. Mentioned it a couple of times with my co-commentator Abby Lloyd, who's currently talking with some of the SAP players who played on the field at half-time, giving them some advice. Of course, native to this area. Taking a gamble there was Kimberly Shrimpton, but didn't pay off. And here's an opportunity perhaps for the Thunder, and it's a good shot, but it just fizzes wide of the post. It's a little bit more like it from South West Queensland Thunder. They need to hit these shots on the counter-attack and take these chances. I think it was Mel Lloyd over on that far side who did race into the area. Abby's big sister. She scored in the first 2 games of the season, did Mel, on a bit of a 2-game barren run at the moment. Scored 10 goals last season, 15 the season prior. So she knows where the back of the net is. It's been... haven't seen much of a ball, unfortunately. It's particularly for the home fans, and there are plenty of home fans here. It's been a good, healthy support in Gatton, as my co-commentator Abby Lloyd, Westfield W League Premiership winner with the Brisbane Roar, rejoins me. Abby? just had a quick chat with the SAP teams, so the Thunder SAP girls and some girls from the local club here, the Gatton Redbacks, imparting some wise words to the girls who will hopefully be following in your footsteps and playing in the W League.
Yeah, trying to at least. Don't know if any of them will listen to me. They were pretty crazy, but yeah, I guess just really this is where it all started for me. I guess I didn't really play when I was their age, so they're already a step ahead of me, I guess, and just following in the footsteps, going all the way from SAP. Obviously, SAP is great for these young kids to be playing at this point in their life, and to really progress on from that and up hopefully into the women's team. And that's obviously where I came from and got to where I was, so hopefully they can just follow in that process and get all the way.
First corner of the game for the Thunder. Hopefully you'll be able to call the second goal for the hosts, and it's fallen at the back for Frank, and it's still there, but it's plucked out of the air by Keely Hawkins, who had a bit of a shocker in the first half for the first goal, or the only goal so far from Madsen Frank, but he was more than able to deal with that challenge. But positive signs for the Thunder, and as we mentioned just before the break, might be a case of fighting for pride a little bit. Flag up on this near side against the heavily strapped Mackenzie Atkins. And while you were away, Abby, I'm sure you probably heard McGilligan grabbed her sixth for the game.
Yep, I did heard a couple of cheers, so I had to look back and she was celebrating and sort of worked it out for myself.
Yeah, it probably wasn't too big a stretch, was it?
No, wasn't too much of a surprise, but
a little bit more fight being shown is big sister Mel trying to place the ball into danger zone for Berlin. And it's still there for Stocker, but Gold Coast do clear, and that's good in the midfield from Brown, making her senior debut, winning that ball back. And here's an opportunity perhaps for Stocker, racing into the penalty area, places it straight onto the chest of Keely Hawkins, who comfortably gathers, but promising signs from the Thunder.
Yeah.
And it sounds silly to say, but they're not out of it, because the United would have put a lot of energy into getting that lead, and well, we could be in for a real shock here.
Exactly,
hopefully.
And especially with Thunder, we never give up, and obviously we've come back from a fair few tough games as well to get the win, so we can obviously do it. It's just, and obviously they've come back out, and Scott's obviously had a chat to them about their 50-50s in midfield. We've seen a couple of girls really shape up in the midfield and win those fights, so positive signs, and a good through ball from the big sis Mel just then, and hopefully we can just get that composure up front and just slide those ones into the bottom corner there.
That would have been the message you would have thought, wouldn't it? Just trying to just show a bit of fight and show a bit of pride and not be bullied off the ball by the Gold Coast United side, who have been able to retain possession and win back possession so quickly. That's been a real hallmark of what they've been able to do so far, as Dee Thompson comes forward again, plays the ball out to McGilligan. McGilligan will look to cross and turn provider this time. Nice head from Zoe Brown. And Berlin trying to break, hits it into her opponent. Lily Lowe, who's come on half time, and she's been given a little baptism of fire, but does win the ball off Berlin that time. And now an opportunity perhaps for Lara Byfield, also come on as a second half substitute. Couldn't quite get that cross to Dee Thompson, who will be looking for her 80th goal in the National Premier League's women. If she can take the ball off McGilligan at any stage. It's just gone out on this near side, can't keep it in. Can Lara Byfield? Michael Cook using his bench. His girls will be very, very tired. Mel Lloyd controls the ball. Jersey saturated, as you'd expect in these very, very warm and humid conditions out in Gatton. Very scenic ground, as I'm sure you can see on your screens. changes in the background, but here is Meg McGilligan, and that's a sight that no Thunder fan would like to see. She plays in Thompson. Thompson crosses from the byline. It's there at the back post for Byfield, but she can't quite get her foot on it, and Thunder are able to clear. Good perseverance, though, on this near side from Lily Lowe, 16 years old. Lily Lowe said there's a fair few youngsters playing in the National Premier League Women's Queensland this year, and she's one of them. T. Reynolds claims for throwing and gets it. Lily Lowe, who's at Palm Beach Crumbin High School with Georgia Elliston, is on the ball now, crosses it into a dangerous area. And it's here for McGilligan. McGilligan twisting and turning. Oh, still there for McGilligan. Danger here. Good save in the end by Liz Hollett, and it's scrambled clear. And that'll be a confidence boost for the Thunder, because she hasn't been able to really make any indentation in the confidence of McGilligan. She might get another opportunity here, but the Thunder defence stand tall and will look to break. On this near touchline, nice interplay with Berlin. Berlin can't quite get there, but now the pace of Stocker, and that's good work from Stocker. Chasing back though was Lowe, and Lowe does excellently to clear the danger. But again, more promising signs from the hosts.
Yeah, it was good just then. Obviously you saw those passes, sort of the 1-2s really working well, and that's what we need more of, the 1-2s from the midfield, and really work our wingers up front. Obviously Stocker has a fair bit of pace, as you could see there, and we really need to I guess work on that and use that to our advantage. Just really the 1-2s are just really need to start happening, I guess.
Berlin wins that free kick, and you're right, we haven't seen that interplay much at all from the Thunder. They've really been chasing the game for the entire first half. But here's an opportunity for Frank to either deliver the ball into the danger area or perhaps remind Keely Hawkins of what she can do. She chooses the latter option, but hits it a little bit too firmly and it drifts over the crossbar. Probably worth an effort though to try and put those demons back into the head of Megan Keely Hawkins, who did flat quite a bit at her first free kick in the first half and ended up conceding the Thunder's goal from it. But nothing doing on this occasion, and the score remains 6-1 in favour of the visitors.
And as you were saying before, it's when those keepers do make those, I guess, silly mistakes, they get down on themselves pretty hard, obviously, and she's sort of been out of the game for a fair bit with only that one chance, and that one chance was obviously worked out for Thunder, but it does get them down a fair bit, and that's when you really need to press on and really pressure her. Even if it's a back pass, really run at her, because she's going to be shaky and she's not obviously sure on what to do. So I guess that's when you really need to step up and press the keepers.
It's good work from Zoe Brown on debut to create that opportunity. She rampaged forwards, but was unable to get her foot on the ball, and it's out for a goal kick for Gold Coast United. And that's what you want to see from these young players in particular, especially in getting this opportunity handed to them by Scott Teague, to perhaps try and grab something from it and perhaps make a little bit of a name for themselves and secure their spot in the heart of the midfield.
Yeah, definitely, and obviously because we have those main players sitting out, now's really the time for them to step up and I guess show what they've got, and really I guess send a message to the coach and say, you know, I'm good enough to step up in these games and be a starting player. So I guess it's really on them to work their hardest and prove to the coach, I guess, that they can be in as much as the starting players.
Good work at the back by Jackson, but she's dispossessed by Dee Thompson.
And that's that pressure just
but
there
again, more
from
pressure.
Jay.
Excellent.
And as well, if Taylor pressed on a bit quicker then, I think we would have got something out of that, and with Taylor's pace, she would have been gone one-on-one with the keeper. And that's just those little things, that little lack of focus and I guess experience from the younger players to know when to press and when to hold off, and I guess with the fatigue as well, obviously it hasn't been too much longer into the half, but it's still there, and that's going to stop the chatter a bit, and those girls to let Taylor know that she can step up and press on that ball.
Madsen Frank, just before, while you were talking there, managed to cut out a through pass towards Mel McGilligan, and we saw so many times that didn't work in the first half, and it doesn't seem like too much has changed in the way the defence is set up. But would you expect that, or is it a case of, well, you just need to do what we're doing better? Would that have been the message perhaps from Teakle?
Yeah, obviously, I mean, the idea is all there, but I think just that lack of knowledge again. Obviously, Maddie's played a fair few seasons, and she's been a starter for us for quite some time, but there's still obviously that little lack of knowledge of where to be and where to position.
Right, over towards Berlin, but it's well cut out in the end. Still there perhaps for the Thunder. And Stocker finds Lloyd. Lloyd still with possession, shoots. Oh, it's flat tapped by the keeper, still there for Tyler Berlin. She puts the ball wide, but it is a corner kick. And once again, those jitters from Keely Hawkins perhaps playing on her mind, and an opportunity that the Thunder could exploit.
Yeah, and definitely, and that's what I was just saying. Really, I guess Taylor just really pressed on her then, and I guess she coughed it straight up into her feet, but that composure to finish that goal there is really important, and I guess the help from the midfield really need to be coming in from the 18-yard to finish that off as well and get that cut back.
Got viewers all over the world joining us on the Facebook live stream, brought to you on the Football Queensland Facebook page. Stocker swings this ball in. It's met by the head of Mel Lloyd. She can't keep it down. And the drought, I use that word with commas around it because it's only a 2-game drought that she hasn't scored for. Can't quite keep it down. It goes over the bar.
She's always a good threat in the air as well, Mel. She's really good with her head, and she's big and strong and can get up for those balls. And I think 2 of her goals this season have been from corners, so our target's always her in those instances. But obviously, there's not much you can do. If you don't get on top of it, it's either going over or you miss it completely, I guess. But
she was certainly under a lot of pressure from the swarming Gold Coast United defence. The free kick is given, again in a dangerous position, or an opportunity perhaps to put a dangerous ball into the box. And once again, South West Queensland Thunder starting to get back into the game. Got a question from Danny Mayer, just for you, Abby. Do you think the W League season should be a little longer?
Yeah, definitely. I think obviously with
Mel Lloyd on the end of that ball again, and it's gathered just at the feet of Tyler Berlin by Keely Hawkins. She needed to be sure of her glove work there, and was, so let off perhaps for Gold Coast United. As we go back to you, Abby.
Yeah, as you're saying, I definitely would love it to be longer. I don't think we even play each team twice, so there's obviously that can be I guess brought into effect, and also with an addition of even some new teams. I know there was obviously rumours for a couple of years about a Gold Coast team coming into it. It'd just be really interesting. Even Wellington, Phoenix, it'd be obviously a great experience to be able to travel over there and that. But yeah, it'd be great to have a longer season. It's sort of, you work all year for a couple of months and then it's all over just like that, which is a bit disappointing, but it's great while it's there, I guess.
Frank with the free kick. So going to be a 3-man wall. There is. Again, we've seen how dangerous Frank can be from these situations. Just gets it over the wall, aiming for a player in the middle, but United come away with it, and on the counter-attack is Dee Thompson. Thompson trying to outpace.
Good challenge there from Claudia as well. Sort of matched her for pace there, and really needed to get that foot in, and really helped us out there.
Had to be alert, didn't she? And
yeah.
Again, slow to get up is Dee Thompson. We mentioned that in the first half, just midway through that first half, and that's something we need to look at. She did go off injured against the Lions defeat at Lions Stadium just a couple of weeks ago. She's wearing that heavy strapping on her knee. Perhaps that is playing on her mind a little bit, and we do need to start thinking, or perhaps in this situation, Michael Cook, she's a key player for Gold Coast United going forward. Perhaps it would be better to withdraw her rather than perhaps some of the other players in this situation.
Yeah, well, you'd think so. Obviously, they're up by a fair few goals at this point. So, I mean, if I was coach, I'd definitely be resting my main players. Meg's obviously got a bag full of goals in this game, so I would definitely be resting those key players for the next week. They're going to have tougher battles than Thunder, obviously, and I would want my players as fresh as they can. Obviously, they'd pull up fine after this game, but, you know, there's always that risk of, obviously, Deanna's injury getting worse, and I guess he's planning to take that risk, but for me, I'd probably be taking them off and resting them a fair bit.
Here is Thompson, doesn't look too encumbered by an injury at the moment, and it's played behind. Some good cover defence from the Thunder there. And another opportunity for Gold Coast United to perhaps have another shot on goal.
And that was that cutback that I was talking about in the first half from Deanna. I think obviously a really good option, and just a bit unlucky that Thunder got that little tap in to send it wide. But
it's good defence, good cover defence.
Yeah, exactly. But that's that ball that I guess is the easy tap-ins, really.
Meg McGilligan had her hand up. This ball's gone onto the top of a crossbar, and it's put in at the back post by Mackenzie Atkins. Atkins gets her fourth goal for the season, and 65 minutes in, the lead is extended for the Gold Coast. It's no longer just the Meg McGilligan show, but it is Gold Coast United 7, South West Queensland Thunder 1. Covered from an ACL injury suffered in Sweden on her previous trip away from the United States. And Mackenzie Atkins. She's got a hat-trick in round 1 in that defeat at Lions. Here's an opportunity though at the other end for Stocker. Can't get a decent shot away though. Again, you're at your most vulnerable after you've just scored, even if it is your 7th. And a new goal scorer for the Gold Coast United side. Do you think Meg McGilligan will be a little bit upset that she's not been able to grab every goal?
Look, I'm sure she'll probably come back and get a few more, but...
Oh, it's almost played in at the back post towards Byfield, and lovely ball by Dee Thompson. And once again, it's opened up here in this second half, just as it did in that flurry of goals at the end of the first, but an opportunity perhaps for Berlin to race on and put the defender under pressure. Nearly took out the cameraman. Dave Logine, excellent photographer, DSL photography. Looked like he's used to taking evasive action and was able to do so, protect that valuable equipment.
He's always ready, yep.
You probably have to be if you're a sports photographer. Because we're a little bit further away from the action than in my opening commentary of the year in Football Queensland Premier League. We nearly got a ball hit straight at our heads in the commentary position. Here's Lloyd trying to cut the ball back inside towards Stocker, but was intercepted well by Forsyth. Here's Lloyd again. Quite sure what she was trying there, but
who knows with Mel. There's probably a shot, but
perhaps ask her later.
Yeah, I'll have a chat with her after the game about that one.
Probably needed another goal and a half.
Yep.
The other side of that left-hand post from Keely Hawkins, but nevertheless, shots are coming in from the Thunder, which is a vast improvement on that first half when really they played the entire game in their defensive half. And that's probably reflected in the scoreline, although it has perhaps blown out a little bit thanks to the efforts of Meg McGilligan, who scored 5 goals in that first half and then added a 6th just after the break to give Gold Coast United a 6-1 lead. Mackenzie Atkins grabbing her 4th goal of the season in the 65th minute, and we will have our drinks break here in Gatton, as we've already mentioned, and myself and Abby are sweating even though we're not doing anything other than standing around talking about this game. It is very, very humid and very, very warm here in the west. and difficult conditions for both players, and you can really see that actually in both sides' performances. They are starting to struggle a little bit. You can see the water being sprayed onto the players over on the Gold Coast bench, and that's what really you need to do in these situations. And again, another opportunity for the coaches to talk to their players and try and get them back on track. You had a couple of drinks breaks yourself, of course, in the W League season, played in the height of summer. Do the coaches use that opportunity to talk to you girls? Do they try and get anything changed, or is it really a case of just reinforcing what you've been told before the game and making sure that everybody's doing their right?
Yeah, just reinforcing obviously our key structures, and obviously if a certain player if they have changed obviously their role, we need to change our role and I guess keep I guess stepping up and focusing on what they're doing, and I guess change our game of play to match theirs. And I guess Mel would always just really focus on, I guess for us it was getting a midfield facing forward to switch out on the other side. So for us, really important to just focus on our key structures and get that around, and really positive vibes again, as I said. And I guess if the other team had changed their game of play, a couple of changes would be made, but often we just play the same game and really just exploit our strengths.
Certainly had the desired effect from Michael Cook in that first half drinks break, because it was goalless as we went into that, and then for the next 13 minutes all hell broke loose. Flurry of goals, mostly through Meg McGilligan, but Madsen Frank also grabbed one for the Thunder, and it's the Thunder who are on the attack when play will resume here in the second half at Gatton. You're hearing the voice of Westfield W League Premiership winner with the Brisbane Roar, Abby Lloyd, and myself, Simon Smouth. Thank you very much for joining us, wherever you are joining us in the world. Got a few people commenting on the Facebook page, joining us from the United States. There's some nice link into play, and racing into the edge of the penalty area. It was aimed towards Berlin, and it's still there perhaps for the Thunder striker, but she can't quite get around Joy Forsyth, who put her body on the line really to stop that threat at source and allow her keeper to comfortably gather. And here come the Gold Coast United side through half-time substitute Lily Lowe, 16-year-old. She plays in her slightly more experienced teammate, Dee Thompson. But good work at defence by Jai Jackson. Another question for Abby on the Facebook page from Niall Barrett. Who do you think is going to win the National Premier League's Queensland? There's a couple of very strong teams. Of course, we're going to see two of the contenders on the live stream later this afternoon, the Gap and Souths United. But there's three teams who are unbeaten so far: Souths, the Gap, Lions. I think you could probably lump Gold Coast United into one of the contenders now that they've got their season up and running, presuming this result stays the same, which you'd probably expect it to. Oh, so we'll leave you with that, because Ty Berlin was just dispossessed, although Thunder look like they're going to be able to clear now. Slight mix up there with Martin.
Yeah, as for the NPL, I've been able to watch a fair few games, because I obviously come back and watch Thunder play a few games when they're in Brisbane, and Lions as well. But I guess all the teams have really stepped up this year. The top teams, I guess, the Gap, South, they've all recruited really good players, I guess. But for me, I really do think that Lions will take it out this year.
Lions,
yeah.
right, okay.
I don't know, just when they play, I think their passes just really connect, and they all know where each other are. And yeah, if I could pick anyone, I think it's going to be Lions.
They take on Easts later today at Lions Stadium. If you've never seen a lion take on a tiger, make sure you get down there if you're in the Brisbane area. But yeah, you're right. I mean, Lions, of course, beat Gold Coast United in round 3 by 4-2 at Lions Stadium. So they've managed to put a sort of marker down against one of their challengers, or certainly someone who I thought might be challenging for the title in this first year of the expanded National Premier League's Women's Queensland competition. Yeah, we'll have to check back on you later in the year to see how Lions are doing. Oh, a bit of a collision there between Jackson. And substitute. Oh, sorry, Laura Byfield. But both players seem to have got off relatively lightly. Berlin can't quite keep that ball in. Whereas again, nice idea from the Thunder in that link up on this near side, and it's happened a couple of times in this second half, perhaps a little bit too little too late.
Yeah.
You could say that when you're 7-1 behind in the 74th minute of this encounter, but it's promising signs, and like you said, it shows that the Thunder aren't going to give up and they're just going to keep fighting until the end. And you never know, a couple of quick goals, because 5 goals came in 13 minutes from Meg McGilligan in that first half, so anything can happen. Certainly not writing off the Thunder as of yet. So it falls for Tyler Berlin. She can't quite get the better of her opponent, young Lily Lowe. Lily Lowe gets the ball moving quickly, perhaps to the detriment of the players who've been on the field the entire game. Brown tried to thread the needle for Dee Thompson, but was unable to do so, and it was picked up by Madison Frank. Still there though for Gold Coast United, apologies. T Reynolds. Oh, and it's played through towards T Reynolds. Good save by Liz Hollett. Still there for United, and it's out for a corner in the end. Good scrambling defence and a good save from Liz Hollett, who has made a couple of fine saves, some acrobatic ones as well. But it's never nice for a keeper to have 7 go past you into the back of the net.
No, definitely not, but I guess her confidence to still stay in the game and be talking and chatting to the back line a fair bit and really getting up and making those big saves are really going to get some energy into the squad, and hopefully she can really step up her talk and get the girls to press up a bit more and really step up when the ball's cleared and get out of our half a bit.
You'd have to say she's actually put Meg McGilligan back in her place a little bit in this second half. She's made a couple of good saves on rampaging Gold Coast United forward. This ball is delivered towards McGilligan at that back post. Doesn't quite fall for her, but it's there for Reynolds. Reynolds tries to play the ball into McGilligan. McGilligan still on the ball. Can't dispossess the 6-goal striker. It's fairly rare that you get a double hat-trick in a game. Maybe McGilligan will remember this one fairly fondly. Trained with the Royal Women's team on a couple of occasions in the summer. Were you impressed with her on what you saw of her in those training squads?
Yeah, obviously just her confidence. She's such a confident player, and at training she'd always be, I guess, mucking around and doing some tricks here and there, and you'd always, I guess, be watching and seeing what she's going to do out on the wing. But yeah, she was definitely a threat in training, and it was good to have her in there and, I guess, put that extra pressure on our defenders and get us ready for the season.
Zoe Brown latching onto the header from Mel Lloyd and does well, and here's Martin under a fair bit of pressure from Lily Lowe, but wins the throw-in. Needs to have someone ahead of her, and that someone is Berlin and Stocker. Probably heard on our sound effects mic. She's bundled out on this near side by Joy Forsyth. If you do have any more questions for Abby Lloyd, Premiership winner with the Brisbane Roar this season in the Westfield W League, make sure you write them on the Facebook stream. Nice on this near side from Stocker. She uses Martin. It's bundled out by Laura Byfield, 17-year-old, former Surfers Paradise Apollo player. Has found its way through towards.
I was going to say pass back there.
Billy Hawkins. It is a pass back. We're going to have an indirect free kick.
And that's that bit of a scramble, I guess. She sort of freaked out a fair bit, and that's when you need to press her, because she was going to pick that ball up.
Don't often see this in many levels of football. I'm sure the Gold Coast girls are going to lock themselves on the line and get ready to charge. And bit of discussion between Stocker and Mel Lloyd. You back your big sister to smash this one into the roof of the net from here?
Yeah, I think
She'll be eyeing it
I've
up.
been in front of her shot, and I wouldn't want to be in that wall at the moment, but we'll see.
No
what
charge.
happens.
It's blocked on the line by one of, I think, 4 Gold Coast United players. I'm sure they'll all be feeling their shins if it missed the pad. It's still there for the Thunder, but we've got a player down. And I think it is Mel Lloyd, whose eyes would have lit up at that opportunity. Again, like I mentioned, a rare opportunity. You don't often see that happen at this or any level of football, the back pass.
Yeah, and I think it's probably the right option. I mean, in that situation to play it back, they're obviously all going to come running out, and I don't really think it would have opened up that too much more space, so I probably would have just had a crack then as well.
Didn't quite get under it enough, though.
Yeah, I would have. Yeah, definitely a bit higher. Obviously, only the keeper can use their hands, so probably around the shoulder height would have been good. But
here's an opportunity for McGallagher. It's a turn provider this time.
That's a good play there.
D. Thompson, but it was an excellent bit of defence. You're absolutely right, Abby, from the Thunder defence. And still there, though, for Gold Coast. Low, plays the ball in, and it's there for Thompson. And it's a fine goal from D. Thompson. That's her 80th goal in the National Premier League Women's competition. And in the 80th minute, just 10 minutes to go, that's the 8th goal for Gold Coast United. They lead their host, South West Queensland Thunder, by 8-1. And Dee Thompson adds to her tally against South West Queensland. She's now scored 9 in 7 games against the Thunder. Didn't clear the danger from Meg McGallagher, who did turn provider that time. And the Thunder again see the ball fly into the back of their net. It's been a fairly disappointing afternoon, and here is McGallagher about to make it even more disappointing, you'd think. Good save by Liz Hollett, though. Comfortable save. And once again, I think Liz has really grown into this half, and looks like she's got McGallagher's measure in a little bit and created a little bit of doubt in her mind. You mentioned she's a confident player. That's an ambitious effort. Very ambitious from Angel Brown, 22-year-old from Santa Clara. The Broncos, of course, common animal here in Queensland. They kick off their season next Friday, at Suncorp Stadium. She only scored 1 goal in 54 appearances for Santa Clara in the States. So scoring goals isn't common to her. That would have been quite one to add to the collection.
Yeah, definitely, and I think it was probably a smart play as well. She looked up and saw Liz fair bit out of her box, and I probably would have done the same thing in that instance as well.
Definitely worth an effort, and when you're 8-1 up, I think there's a little bit more.
May as well give it a crack.
Good tackle, all given as a free kick. I thought that looked like a pretty decent tackle from from Jackson, but that's not how referee Sarah Pratt saw it. Hasn't had too much to do, Sarah Pratt. Easy ball to Dee Thompson, and Thompson lofts it into the penalty area. Mackenzie Atkins racing into it, but it was gathered well by Liz Hollett. And now the Thunder will look to race forward. Under 10 minutes to go here at Gatton. What's been a memorable afternoon for Meg McGallagher and her Gold Coast United teammates. And they've put their away day hoodoos to bed. This will be their first away victory of the 2018 season. Meg McGallagher scored 6, 5 in the first half, and 13 frenetic first half minutes. And then one just after the break to really put the cherry on top of a very delicious looking cake. Is Byfield thinking with Thompson, and Thompson is dispossessed well by Jackson. That's a sliding tackle by Walker on Berlin. Did the job though. The Thunder retain possession, and here's Fry. Fry coming up against an opponent, needed a bit more support and was unable to get it. Styler was coming across, but Not close enough, but Fry does retain possession. Is Zoe Brown. Lloyd. Bit too much ahead of Berlin, and the ball does go over the line, and hand goes up from Mel Lloyd. She sits on her haunches, and she must be really feeling the heat by now. I'm certainly feeling it under our little corrugated roof here, so goodness knows how the girls out on the field are feeling. It's been a warm afternoon.
Especially in the midfield today as well for Thunder. Obviously they've been chasing the game a fair bit, so a few tired faces and drenched shirts out there.
Nice and traditional as it is to have a 3 p.m. kickoff on a Saturday afternoon, perhaps in a Queensland or autumn. Well, it still feels quite a lot like summer as the offside trap is sprung by Dee Thompson, and Thompson tries to slide the ball past Liz Hollett, and you can hear the round of applause. That tells you the story. Good save down to her left by the young goalkeeper. Good save. She's really grown into this game. Well, really blame her for many, if any, of the goals that have been conceded. I think that came off the Gold Coast player last, and that is the view of the officiating team. Lily Lowe tried her luck. 16 years old, you're probably entitled to do that.
You always put your hand up. Always call for it. Just act confident and they'll give it.
Perhaps looked a little bit too sheepish while doing so. Oh, excellent work here from Stocker, and Stocker tries to cut across and finds Fry. Wants the ball back. Excellent composure from Fry. I tried to play the ball to Stocker. Gets it there the second time. He's forced wide though. Back towards Fry. But Keely Hawkins comes out and is able to deal with the danger.
It's a good idea there from Stocker, just obviously to get that angle back a bit more to Fry, who was coming in on the top of the box.
Well, it was, again, nice interplay, and that's been a real feature of this second half play from South West Queensland Thunder. They're really finding their passes, they're finding their man with that ball and looking at for those 1-2s, and it's been a much improved performance.
Yeah, and that's it. The ideas are always there from Thunder. It's just the execution. Obviously the heat obviously isn't helping with that, but at times I think obviously in defence as well, it's sort of killed us a fair bit this game, but just jumping in, just not being composed enough on the ball, and we've just, I guess we've let them in behind just by jumping in. So I think just really calming down and just jockeying a fair bit more. Jay Jackson's obviously been really good in the back line there. I think her experience from overseas and at college has really helped with that. When we were over there, she was just a workhorse and really knows her stuff. So it's good to have her back in the back line there. But I think a bit more communication from her to step up and obviously just give that wisdom, I guess, to the younger players just to not jump in, because I think that's really cost us today.
Slow to walking pace over on that far side has Dee Thompson. We've been questioning her physical fitness over the last, really almost this entire game. She's been slow to get up on a couple of occasions, but she's gamely carrying on. Whether that's wise or not in these situations when sterner challenges, with all respect to Thunder, may lie ahead. Back at Station Reserve next weekend, our Gold Coast, as Atkins races towards the byline. She has plenty of time to pick a pass. Tries to find her way across to McGilligan. It's a good block in the end. And throw in for the host. We're going to see a substitution over on that far side for the Thunder. 87th minute, just a couple of minutes to go. Jess Fry is the lady being withdrawn. A double substitution, in fact. Jess Fry and Madsen Frank, who have been withdrawn. And when I see a number, I'll let you know. It's Justine Kruger. And Elise Wyville, who've come on. So Elise Wyville did score from the bench against Western Pride.
Yeah, I think she chipped the keeper in that one, probably about 30 yards out or so.
Here's McGilligan. McGilligan twisting and turning and shooting. Good save by Hollett. She can't add to her tally. She now has 10 for the season, incidentally, McGilligan. And often say that 6 came in the one game, but that has been the case today. Oh, almost threaded through again. That time Atkins was able to do so, but here's Byfield, and she might be able to do so. Twisting and turning, it's come to Atkins on this near side. Races into the penalty area, plays it back towards McGilligan, and then Atkins again. Good save, really good save again by Liz Hollett. Atkins stares at the sky. The ball is still in play, and she could have another opportunity, but Laura Byfield, in attempting to get the ball to her, plays it out for a goal kick. Good save again from Liz Hollett. She's been impressive when called upon in this second half in particular.
Yeah, and even though we're down by a fair few goals, it's still a crucial save, and it gets the girls going again, and it really just helps with that mental strength to just finish off the game strong.
Justine Kruger was with the brilliantly named Chinchilla Honey Bears for 3 seasons. Not normally a fan of, oh, here's an opportunity perhaps. There's a weak shot in the end by T. Reynolds. She'll be very disappointed by that. Scored twice against the Thunder last season when playing for Gold Coast City. A couple of players end up on the deck over on that far side, but play is allowed to continue, and here's an opportunity for Dee Thompson to run onto the ball. Plays the ball into McGilligan, and it's a good piece of defending, a really strong piece of defending, and great awareness then to clear that ball behind for another corner kick.
And she was
great
aware
work
of
by Jackson.
And she was aware of Meg coming in the back there as well. So obviously another crucial save there by, I guess, Jay.
Has been quite impressive at times in this second half in particular. Most of the damage has been done out wide for Gold Coast United. And all these players on their haunches, it's desperately tiring as we tick over into added time. Corner will be swept in. It's headed clear. Still there though. Now it's cleared. Berlin getting up there, and substitute Sarah Robson. Got 10 minutes last week, or on Tuesday, sorry, against Logan. In that 4-1 defeat for the Thunder. She's been given a little bit of time here as well. Can the Thunder just punctuate this game with one last goal? Make it around 10 for the match. It's cleared well in the end by that substitute again, Lily Lowe. She's been pretty good since she's come on in the second half. McGilligan knew she was offside, stuck the hands up and stopped running, or perhaps hoped she was offside and stopped running, because as time is running on, it doesn't feel like she needs to add any more gloss to this result. Referee Pratt looks at her watch. Still time to be played, she decides. And here's an opportunity. Flag must go up. It does on Dee Thompson. In the end, it's a good save by Liz Hollett, but the flag did go up. Looked to be a couple of yards off, at least, from our angle here in the clubhouse. It's been fairly well populated. The crowd won't have particularly enjoyed what they've seen from their guests, I guess, for home side South West Queensland Thunder. Played another couple of games here in Gatton before moving back to the Clive Berghofer Stadium, which has been redeveloped, and they'll look forward to playing in that facility, I'm sure. And that will be that. As Sarah Pratt brings an end to proceedings, it's been a pretty impressive performance from Gold Coast United. They win by 8 goals to 1. We didn't quite get double figures for the match in the end, Abby Lloyd, but that was a fairly comprehensive performance, in particular from Meg McGilligan.
Yeah, definitely. Meg was a standout in that game, but also Deanna Thompson, and I guess the whole of the team really worked well together, and got their passes stringing along really nicely and really were able to work the ball all the way up to the top, and Meg just finished a fair few off, I guess. But in saying that, Thunder can keep their heads high. We never give up a fight, and you can see that in the end. We're still sprinting, we're still trying to get in for those tackles. We might miss a few, but we're always backing up to get the next one. So keep their heads high, and hopefully we can get a win within the next couple of games.
Doesn't get any easier for South West Queensland Thunder. They head to Taraba Park next week to take on Mitchelton. So that'll be a tough one for the girls, but like you said, they were real credit to themselves in that second half. They really kept going, never let their heads drop, and if anything really grew into the game, and were unlucky not to have a couple of goals themselves. Keely Hawkins didn't have the best game, if we're honest, for Gold Coast United, but you'd have to say it's been very impressive for a side missing Eloise Fryer and Charlotte Rayner, both missing from the side today. South West Queensland Thunder missing 3 starters: Sarah Sheridan, Chandel Doro and Louise Rolfe. Hopefully they'll be back in the coming weeks. Of course, Chandel Doro, we wish you best on your nuptials today, so congratulations to all of us from Football Queensland on this live stream. This has been a double take production for Football Queensland on the Football Queensland Facebook page and YouTube channel, and it's been a real pleasure to bring you what has been quite an entertaining game. We've seen a real attacking display, a real workshop in that from Meg McElliott. She managed 6 goals, 5 of them coming in 13 frenetic minutes at the end of the first half. Goal each for her other partners in crime, Mackenzie Atkins and Dee Thompson, and that was interspersed by a rather surprise goal from Madsen Frank from all of 40 yards. But it has been a very, very impressive performance from Gold Coast United. Michael Cook will be very pleased to see his side pick up their 2nd win of the season. They'll move up from 8th spot. Of course, a couple more games to come from the weekend, including the gap against Souths United. That's going to be a real key match. Neither side expected to win the title, according to my guest today, Abby Lloyd. But that will be Lions against Easts. That'll also be a good game. Pride versus Sunshine Coast Wanderers, Moreton Bay United against Mitchelton, and Mudgeeraba against Logan. So plenty more action to come in Rebel Women's Female Football Week. But we'll sign off here from Gatton FC. Abby, it's been absolutely fantastic to have you with us. We hope to have you again at some point through the season. It's been a real pleasure to have you alongside me, Simon Smale. We finish up the proceedings here. South West Queensland Thunder 1, Gold Coast United 8.